What is the best answer when a 5 sensory asks you as a 6 sensory what your income is? So what is the best answer if a 5 sensory is digging into information about your finances as a 6 sensory? How much are you willing to share with them about what you earn? And that's what we'll focus on today. If they're asking you what kind of money you can bring to the table, and if you're willing to pay for dates as a sensitive person, here is my answer for you today. It's pretty complex and nuanced. The first thing you need to consider as a 6 sensory when a 5 sensory asks you about your income is that it's not a requirement to be rich. It's not a requirement necessarily to have any income coming in necessarily more than you feel comfortable with earning as a 6 sensory. So 6 sensories can be all over the map with income. They could be staying at home with their family and they may not have any income coming at all. And they may have never gone to school. And other 6 sensories are going to be extremely business savvy. Maybe they have their own business. They could be out as a psychic or a medium and making a lot of money. Or there could be the intuitive that's in the middle. Maybe they have a regular white collar job or blue collar job that they do to support themselves. And that's the way that they live their life. Now, regardless of how you live your life, whatever kind of income you have as a sensitive person, whether you've found a job in your field or you've been unemployed for a long time, it's not really anybody's business to know exactly what your income is, and you don't really have any obligation to tell them. If you've ever had the opportunity to study the chakra system as an intuitive, you will learn about the 7 chakras, and the first one has to do with security. It has to do with feeling confident that you can survive in the world, both in terms of your health and in terms of your finances. And so if 5 sensories are asking you this question as a sensitive person, they probably feel really wounded in this area. They feel that their income is not enough to support themselves in the world that they live in today. Maybe they want to know that they have a reliable 6 sensory partner who's willing to chip in for expenses. Having said that, it's still not your obligation to chip in for expenses. It only really becomes an obligation if you've had a relationship with a 5 sensory for a long time. Maybe you're married and you share finances. Maybe that's the point where it does make sense for you to be able to support them. Maybe if they're married to you and they experience an injury from work, you're the one who takes over and earns the income for the household. That is 100% fine, and that's okay for a 6 sensory to do. But what's inappropriate is if a 6 sensory doesn't know a 5 sensory very well, is at the beginning of the relationship spending a lot of money on a 5 sensory, spending money to travel where they are, spending money on paying for their date. If a 5 sensory can't afford something, then you can potentially come up with another way to meet for free if you like. But even that, you have to be very, very careful with, because sometimes 5 sensories do that to take you for granted. And so be very cautious about that. You have to see a 5 sensory as someone who's qualified to date you. And if the 5 sensory has absolutely no money, he doesn't have a way to show his sincerity that he's not going to waste your time. Another important thing to know as an intuitive person is that you have the potential to make a lot of money at any given time in your life. And what do I mean by that? Your intuitive, psychic, feminine ability is actually more powerful than a lot of masculine left-brained abilities. So those abilities are great. People can become doctors, they can become engineers, and these are great middle-class incomes. However, your femininity, your creativity, your intuition can potentially write a very killer sales letter. You can build a very killer relationship with people that allows you to become the best version of yourself and allows them to become the best versions of themselves too. And that's why there are so many influencers on the internet, right? When you have that intuitive ability, there is a secret inside of you that when unlocked, you can potentially bring in a lot of abundance and a lot of money that left brain people just don't have. Now, having said that, it doesn't mean you're obligated in any way to share that money with them. If they're going to poo-poo your ability or criticize you or say that it's wrong for whatever reason, then they don't deserve your money. If a 5 sensory does have a wound in their first chakra and they have a problem with earning income or feeling safe in the world, that is their problem. That is not a problem that you can fix with your money as a 6 sensory. In fact, that's going to make them feel more insecure. Why? Because they're dependent on you and they're wired into you instead of having the ability to stand on their own 2 feet and really invest money into you. And when they invest money into you, anything you invest money in grows in value in your eyes. Even if you're investing in a stock or you're throwing money into gambling and you're losing it, because you've put money in, the temptation is to keep putting money in because you did it before. And so you want the 5 sensory to show their sincerity to you by being willing to spend some money on you. Does it mean you should manipulate them and get them to spend a lot of money on you? No, don't do that. But they should be willing to show some sincerity and some caring towards you materially as a 6 sensory, so they've got skin in the game and they're going to stick around when things get harder. Even the most perfect loving relationships will have difficult seasons to them. Somebody could get sick in your family or somebody might die and you're grieving. When those things happen, the relationship gets challenged, even if it's a healthy relationship. And one of the pillars to know that the person is going to stick around is they have a reliable track record of treating you with respect, with investing time and energy into you. And sometimes the time and energy is actually more important than the money because it's something that we can't really get back, that time and energy, whereas money can be recreated over and over again. The key takeaway to this is to know within yourself as a 6 sensory that you can be killing it at any point, at any time of your life financially, if you really want to. And so there's nothing that you need to prove to a 5 sensory, even if you've got $0 coming into your bank account at the moment.